What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? 5 things here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin getting you right for everything that you need to know for the Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl rematch in week 2, home opener out there at Arrowhead Stadium. Hope you guys are going to listen to this on your way out there, maybe getting ready to go out there or getting ready to spend some time with some friends and family for this game. We got 5 things for you. 5 things that we are looking for in this matchup. We got the KC Laboratory. We'll have Matt Hamilton, the guys from Only Weird Games. Benny Heiss will give us some betting analysis, also with a special guest as well. And I'll give you my beef of the week that I'm looking for. And speaking of beef, we got to talk about our friends at Batchelder Family Farms, the partner and friend and sponsor and everything that you want to call them at this year program. They've got all kinds of stuff for you. Go over there to batchelderfamilyfarms.com. They've got all kinds of farm bundles waiting for you. We got a KCSN Foundation farm bundle, 10% of the proceeds going out there for the tailgate pack to the KCSN Foundation. Make sure to shop local as well. They do all locally sourced eggs. They got pork. They got beef. They got grass-fed bison, too. KC Buffalo Company also out there. They've got bundles from Bison Beginner, Bison Grilling. They've got ground beef bundles. You name it. Go check it out. BatchelderFamilyFarms.com. As I mentioned, we got the tailgate packs over there too, the KCSN tailgate packs. You can check those out, $100 and $200. The $200 just doubles it. Just doubles what you get in the $100 pack. Go check that out on our socials as well, at KCSN Foundation. That graphics out there. But you can go check them out at Batchelder Family Farms. Love the folks out there. I'll be out there next week with the farm animals. Don't you worry. I'll be back out there next week. But let's get this thing started. Let's get the party started. Let's set the tone right with the KC Laboratory. They want to talk to us about Jalen Carter. He's back. What do you guys got to say, Kent?
Kent Swanson and Craig Stout here from the KC Laboratory. We are giving you something to watch here. Craig, how are we doing today?
Oh, we're doing phenomenal, Ken. I'm ready for a big matchup. Chiefs versus Eagles, and excited to be making my season debut on 5 things with you, buddy.
It's been a minute, buddy. It's good to see you on this fine program here. And hopefully this segment goes better than our predictions for Chiefs Eagles is all I've got to say. Let's hope. Let's hope. But you know what? Yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit about that game wrecker on the defensive side of the football for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Carter. This man is a one-man wrecking crew when he is not spitting on opposing quarterbacks and getting them thrown out of the game and somehow retroactively suspended, even though that seems like just a total PR move, but whatever. We haven't got to see Jalen Carter on the field yet. Last season, he flashed best defensive lineman in football level ability. I think he's one of the best defensive tackles in all of the game at this point. There's definitely been some things with him, motivation, some concerns in the past. That's why he fell all the way to 8 in the draft, and the Eagles were able to secure his talents. But I think we're probably going to be getting a motivated version of Jalen Carter in this game off the heels of what happened in week 1. It is going to be a new look defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it is going to be a vicious defensive line, and specifically that Jalen Carter guy.
Yeah, he doesn't have to mix in with some of the other guys behind him. Certainly, they're going to rotate a few guys on that defensive line, but it's built around what Jalen Carter can do on the interior. He's my personal defensive player of the year pick, and so I was excited to watch him last week until he spit on Dak Prescott and got kicked out of the game before playing a snap. He is going to be spitting mad against the Kansas City Chiefs this week, against an interior that, frankly, Trey Smith, not a great matchup there, especially with the lateral movement that Jalen Carter can bring to the table, and Kingsley Suamataia, who doesn't handle power very well. Jalen Carter is the complete package, powerful, good lateral agility, good burst, good speed. He's just not a guy that I want to see opposite me, much like Chris Jones has been for most NFL defenses over his entire career. That's the kind of fear that Jalen Carter strikes in offensive coordinators and in offensive line coaches. So this is going to be a really tough matchup. I think the Chiefs really do have their work cut out for him. Creed Humphrey, I think, is going to be following him around, meaning trying to double team him wherever he goes, whether it's to Kingsley's side, whether it's to Trey's side. try and help those guys out, try and neutralize them a little bit. Just throw bodies at the guy and hope that you can slow him down there, because as we've seen in Mahomes' career, that middle pressure does, in any quarterback's career, does a lot of damage to the way the offense can run and will run. So they have to really focus on making sure that they neutralize him, hopefully with some doubles on the interior there.
Well, and you know, like, they're gonna have to find a way to double him and try to set the protection to being able to double him a lot more. But like, guess who else is gonna know that? Vic Fangio in this defense,
Yep.
right? So you can't be too predictable with your protection calls. It can't be as simple as that, because you can get burned just as easily if you're going to be super predictable there. So there's probably going to be some challenges and some opportunities for Kingsley Suamataia to have to step up in a one-on-one situation at times, depending on what the Eagles are going to try to throw their way. They present some challenges, and like, I think they've kind of built their pass rush a little bit around around Jalen Carter, because they have some players that can get up that arc too. So if you're getting that interior pressure and you're too deep into the pocket, they have guys that can clean things up. Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt. Oh, by the way, that Joshua Uche guy, ever heard of him? He's in the building as well. So I think there's
And Za'Darius Smith, recent addition to the Eagles pass rush. Yeah.
There's some complementary pieces sitting around Jalen Carter. He's going to be a significant challenge. But the truth of the matter is that whole defensive line does present some unique challenges for this team as well, Craig.
They do. It's a matchup nightmare for anybody trying to set protections and trying to figure out who needs to block where. And Vic Fangio is really good at finding those good matchups. He likes to run a lot of Okie front, meaning they've got a dedicated nose as a zero tech with 2-4 techniques lined up. Jalen Carter will likely be one of those 4 techniques. And then you've got Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith, as you mentioned, they're the other rotational pieces, Joshua Uche and Za'Darius Smith, that can also be out there. He will drop those guys into coverage. He will rush 3. He will rush 5 with that front. You never know where it's coming from. So to your point, you can't just simply say, okay, well, we're going to make sure that there's always a double on him. I know that I said that you hope that there's always going to be a double on him, but the protection rules are going to dictate that. If they are in an Okie front with a zero technique there, guess who Creed Humphrey has to block? He can't sit there and try and shade help. So they're going to have to get creative to try and find ways to neutralize him and neutralize these complementary pieces, and try not to allow free hitters, free rushers. Vic Fangio is really good at that. Not quite as good as Steve Spagnuolo is at running that sort of things, but that defensive line creates matchup problems all over the place. And Fangio is really good at featuring individuals on this defensive line to try and maximize them there. So Jalen Carter is just the next guy up in his rotation and what he wants to do. I expect that they're going to try and get those matchups, run those Okie fronts, try and create those pressure situations where Jalen Carter will be matched up one-on-one against those guards. And well, you just hope that those guys are up to it on the play there and show that they can slow this guy down.
They're going to need to. And they're going to need to have answers when they don't. And that'll fall a little bit on Patrick Mahomes. I think he's having to his life a little bit. And hopefully he can make some plays happen when Jalen Carter eventually does get his, which he absolutely will.
You will.
Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to hear another thing from Matt Hamilton right after this.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
I'm Brett Goodwin, one of the owners of The Learning Tree. The Learning Tree is a neighborhood toy store in Prairie Village, Kansas. This has been here in this location since 2000s, and my husband Alan and I purchased the store in 2023. Alan and I grew up in families where we've always wanted to have a business together. Alan grew up, for instance, his parents had a jewelry store. I worked in a local toy store here in Prairie Village when I was growing up. When this opportunity happened in 2023, we knew right away we wanted to contact them and pursue the store. We wouldn't have been able to get the store without the team at Emprise Bank. From the day we contacted them, they knew what we needed to do, which was very helpful. I would absolutely recommend the team at Emprise Bank to anyone looking to secure a business. We worked with Emprise from day one. They were extremely helpful. They were always great resources. We talk to them frequently. They know the area. They're very friendly. We know who we're going to talk with, and they know what we need to do. We hope we'll see you at the Learning Tree.
What's up, guys? I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network, and I'm here to talk to Kansas City businesses. If you rely on technology, you need an IT support team that's not just another vendor, but a true IT partner. That's why I want to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, KJ Miller. He is a VCIO at ThrottleNet, the Midwest's highest rated and most reviewed IT support company. They've been in business for more than 25 years, helping companies stay secure, productive, and ahead of the curve. They aren't just IT support, but they provide data security, IT strategy, and cloud software services. They do it all, and their reviews show they do it better than anyone else. So if you want to hear about how ThrottleNet can help your local business, join the conversation with myself, KJ Miller from ThrottleNet, and our resident genius from KC Sports Network when it comes to IT, at least as he's affectionately known by us, Mr. Craig Stout. Click the link in the description to hear how ThrottleNet can help you.
The one thing I'm keeping an eye out for Sunday is the Eagles secondary against this depleted Chiefs receiving core. And that's really the one area of this Eagles team that is drastically different than it was in that Super Bowl. There's a lot of turnover there. Darius Slay is in Pittsburgh. CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's in Houston. Those are two big pieces to lose off of your defense. And from what we saw in week one, it did kind of change the tenor of the Philadelphia Eagles defense. It didn't quite look like the defense that we saw in that Super Bowl. There were a lot of opportunities for the Cowboys to make big plays. Dak Prescott did have a hell of a day against them, and it would have been even bigger if they held on to some of those drops that they had. But when you look at it, the two players I'm really focused on, number one, it's Adoree Jackson. He was targeted 6 times in that game against the Cowboys, gave up 5 receptions for 103 yards. The Cowboys had 79 yards receiving against the other DBs in that secondary room combined. Adoree gives up 103. So most likely, whoever he's matched up on, whether it's Hollywood Brown, whether it's Tyquan Thornton, if I'm Patrick Mahomes, that's who I'm targeting. That's where I'm attacking. And the other player I'm keeping an eye on, rookie Andrew Mukuba, who got a ton of snaps, and might be a little bit of Sidney Brown there at safety as well. But that safety spot, Mukuba played pretty well. I'm a fan of his game, but he is still a rookie. So that's another area I'm looking at where you can maybe take advantage of his inexperience a little bit, because again, for the Chiefs to win this game, they are going to need to hit some of those shots down the field. Tyquan Thornton, Hollywood Brown, both more than capable of stretching the field and making some of those plays. It is going to be on the offensive line as well to hold up. Jawan Taylor needs to play a lot better than he did down in Brazil. Josh Simmons, Kingsley, they need to take some steps forward. So again, that's going to be a tall order against this Eagles defensive front, especially with Jalen Carter back out there. But there are going to be opportunities against this secondary that might not have been there in that Super Bowl. And that's really where I think the Chiefs, it's funny because you think, oh, they have the depleted receiving core, it's going to hurt them in the passing game. But I really think there are going to be those opportunities against this Eagles secondary. It's just going to be a matter of cashing in and biding their time and taking the shots when the time is right. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on in this game. If the Chiefs are able to take advantage of Adoree Jackson and some of the issues the Eagles have in that secondary, I could see them finding their way to a win here. I know the mood is a little bit down, especially because of all the injuries, Worthy not likely to play, all of that. But I really think there's a real opportunity here for Kansas City to get this passing game going and come out of there with a win.
Appreciate Matt Hamilton hitting on that Eagles secondary. All right, let's get into a special guest. Ben Heisler is joining us here, KCSN betting analyst, and he's got him a special guest.
What's going on, guys? Ben Heisler, KCSN betting analyst here on 5 Things. And for our portion of the week, I'm excited to be joined by Johnny Avello. He is the head odds maker over at DraftKings Sportsbook. He's been in the industry for 40 plus years. So the man has seen everything under the sun when it comes to betting. We're going to go through where they arrived at this number for the Chiefs, currently at plus 1.5. Pretty crazy stat that we'll get into about Patrick Mahomes being a home underdog at his career at this stage in his life. And then also some of the reasons that they've moved, where they've power ranked the Chiefs over the course of the last week or so from where they opened during the season. So if you're a bettor, if you're looking to bet, you're going to want to pay attention to this conversation. And by the way, speaking of betting, the wait is almost over here in the state of Missouri. DraftKings Sportsbook is coming. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. And remember that new Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets when it launches on December 1st. You can download it now, and then once they go live, you can just place a $5 bet, and that will allow you to get $300 in bonus bets. Love DraftKings Sportsbook. I've been using it for a long, long time. You get the live in-game betting, tons of different props. The payouts are super fast, and there's all different ways to get in on the action. So without further ado, here's our conversation with the head odds maker at DraftKings Sportsbook, Johnny Avello. It is the Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, a Super Bowl rematch here in week 2, and we are thrilled to be joined by Johnny Avello, DraftKings Director of Sports Operations and their head odds maker. Johnny, you've been in the business for a long, long time. It's great to see you again, and thanks for making time for us here on 5 Things.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's been a long time, like over 40 years now.
40 years. What do you think has changed the most from when you first started to how things are now? Is there anything you can even wrap your head around with how much the industry has really kind of reshaped itself?
Well, so much more content. Most of my career was in a retail environment. And so we would have on a football game, we'd have up, the game, the side, the total, the money line, maybe a couple props. And now with DraftKings, we have a Super Bowl menu up every single week for every single game. So it's just content. There's so much more now for the bettor to take a look at and find some good spots.
No doubt about it. This is a fascinating matchup. You got the Eagles against Kansas City. Let's talk about the line initially. Right now, Chiefs money line at plus 105 as we talk over on DraftKings Sportsbook. The line currently at minus 1.5. Chiefs are the home underdog in this game, which I'll get to in just a second. The total right now at 46.5. So first off, Johnny, can you kind of walk us through how you arrived at the current number and how much of these numbers have changed from where it first opened as a look-ahead line and even, frankly, before the Chargers game?
Yeah, well, we arrived at a number of 1.5 Chiefs in this game, and that would reflect that the Eagles were probably a little bit better team to start the season, because the Chiefs' home field is worth about 3 points, which is not. People say, well, 3 points is the norm, and it's not. 3 points is kind of on the high end. Some teams have no home field advantage. Some have 1 point. So 3 is, a pretty good home field advantage. And that just, so when you look at the Chiefs only being 1.5 on the opener, it reflects that the Eagles their power rating in our eyes was a little higher. Now the game has moved to 1.5 Eagles, and the Chiefs, the first game didn't look that great. They did have some good spots. Certainly, Butker in the kicking game looked good. The running game didn't look too good, except for Mahomes at 50 yards. Everybody else, nothing. And so we had to adjust the power rating slightly, and the bettors bet on the Eagles. So those two things pushed the line to the Eagles now 1.5.
It's also remarkable anytime you see the Chiefs and you see them at plus odds. If this line holds at Chiefs plus 1.5, it would just be the second time in Mahomes' career that he's gone off as an underdog. When you hear something like that, when a lot of these trends come into play, and there's hundreds, if not thousands of these trends that always seem to pop up, do they ever come into play when your team is evaluating where the line should be?
No, they really don't. We're basically a power rating company. I mean, that's the way I've always operated. That's the way we operate. We have a model. These teams all have a rating. We go by what the rating is, what the home field advantage is, and then we let the bettors push it where they want to push it based on the trends that they believe may or may not take place in the game. The Chiefs last year, if you want to go back to last year, they made it to the Super Bowl, going for 3 straight. It wasn't their best of years. I mean, they won a lot of close games. They didn't look good at times, but they found a way to win. They don't want to lose this game here because that could give them an 0-2 start. And if they do lose this game, their power rating will even be lower, depending on how the game would go. We've done some other things with the Chiefs. We've raised their Super Bowl odds. They were 7, now they're 12. We in the division now. They're not the favorite any longer. They're tied with the Chargers at plus 190 to win the divisions. A lot of things have changed on this Chief team early in the season. And I say that early in the season because there's a lot of time for the Chiefs to gather the momentum and put it together. And usually the 3 put it together. When I say the 3, that's Mahomes, the coach, and the tight end. They usually, if you have those 3, you can figure out other pieces coming in. That's the way it's been for them for a few years.
Yeah, I remember too, Johnny, just a couple of years ago, people dancing in the streets when they saw that the Chiefs were available to win the division, in April at even money, let alone plus 190 with the Chargers. So things have changed just slightly, but even still, definitely a major update. I'd love to follow up on those power rankings a little bit. Where did you guys have the Chiefs power rated at the start of the season? And how often do these ratings get adjusted? Is it per game? Could it be mid-game if a significant injury takes place? Can you kind of walk us through that process?
Well, the power ratings, and what a power rating is it's the production of offense and defense, and there's some intangibles also in there. It's a complicated process. It's more complicated now than it was when I was doing it, 20 years ago, doing it all manually. Because it is computer based now, and it's AI certainly takes place in it. But the Chiefs, it's a slight move. It's not a drastic move. It's early in the season, so we're not making these big moves on every team. Now, you ask how often they happen. They happen each and every week. Some teams' power ratings get adjusted drastically. Some just a minor rating. This was just a minor rating. Now, we'll continue to, adjust these on every single team after the Sunday games, and put up next week's slate. And that's why you see some of those numbers that we put up initially 2 months ago will move. And then also, it's not all about the power rating move. Some of that is money early that moves those numbers.
A couple more for you, Johnny. We're joined by Johnny Avello with DraftKings here on 5 Things. So we talked about the total initially, currently 46.5, but it is juiced to the over at minus 118. Can you explain to our viewers, just from sort of a high level perspective, why that number of 47, should it get there, is such a key number when it comes to just dealing and understanding totals in the NFL?
Well, I'm going to go back and tell you, years ago, we had some key numbers in totals: 37, 38, 40, 41, 43, 44, 45, all key numbers. 46 wasn't, 47 was. Now, the way the game is played today, with going for 2 now, the coaches being more aggressive, the totals have changed a little bit. Most numbers are key numbers now. I can't say there's any real dead numbers, as we used to call them. But 47 is certainly more key than 46 is. So, for us, we're a little careful when we do get around more of the key numbers. And the reason we say key numbers, because more games can fall on that number. If you go back and look at history, more games will fall on 47 than they will on 46 or 48. So that's why that's been a key number through the years.
All right, last thing that I have for you is, as the week goes on, where do you anticipate the level of liability for Kansas City for Philadelphia this week. Are you expecting a lot more Eagles money and tickets to come through as the week progresses, even with them being a road favorite against a team like Kansas City? How do you anticipate the rest of the week going as far as the type of money and the number of bets that come in?
I believe they're going to bet the Chiefs in this game on the money line. You know, you mentioned it early when we started speaking about the plus 105. That's where they're going to land. They're not going to worry about this 1.5 or point or whatever it may be. You know, when we get, they're going to take the Chiefs, and because they believe in the Chiefs, they believe in if the Chiefs are going to be in this game, they're going to win this game. Either going to win this game or lose this game by 3 or more. So I believe that will kind of be loaded up on money line money on the Chiefs. We'll have some teaser play in this game. That was both sides and for the teaser. So I think that's where we'll land. And the total will continue to get bet over. Won't be surprised when it does hit 47.
Johnny, great to see you as always. Appreciate your time. Plenty of discussion ahead here on 5 things about this upcoming game, but thanks for providing some much needed perspective for all of us here on KCSN. Appreciate your time as always.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Great stuff from Johnny Avello, the head odds maker over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Really appreciate his insight, just 40 plus years of expertise. And a good reminder for all of you that you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code KCSN. That will allow you to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet once DK Sportsbook goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That is code KCSN in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Remember, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You must be 21 plus, physically present in the state of Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after they're issued. Excludes customers who redeem their pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms are available at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Folks, it's time for the Beef of the Week, presented by Batch Elder Family Farms, 2810 South Prospect Avenue out there in Belton, Missouri. You can get all your fresh, farm-raised products for them out there. They will get you hooked up. You can visit them also at batchelderfamilyfarms.com. Beef of the Week this week, pretty darn simple, folks. We got to see the last couple times the Chiefs have been out there on a football field in a nationally televised game. They lacked some energy. I need to see some energy from Patrick Mahomes and company coming up in this game. And look, it's a big game. It is a huge game. A team that has started to build a cross-conference rivalry. The Eagles and the Chiefs, they've got a lot of connections. That's a little bit of a beef, too. These two teams, they have starting to develop some beef and some rivalry with playing in the Super Bowl twice. Teams splitting a pair. Obviously, Andy Reid coming from there. A lot of the upper front office members of the Kansas City Chiefs also coming from the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a little bit of overlap with the two teams, the two franchises, and I think there's a little bit of beef there. I think you could start to say there's a little bit of beef between these two teams. And I've got a beef with the way this football team has started off these football games the past 2 times we've seen them on TV. Obviously, the last time they played the Philadelphia Eagles left a lot to be desired. It left a lot on the table how they played against the Philadelphia Eagles in New Orleans. And golly, it better not happen again, because in week 1 of this season, you guys saw it. Everyone saw it. The Chiefs came out flat. They talked about it all week at the podium. From Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, the coordinators, the position coaches, the fans, the media, everyone is talking about how this team came out flat. That is something that they cannot do for a second week in a row. Really, 3rd week in a row, if you want to consider the Super Bowl in that. They cannot do that. That stops becoming an excuse if they come out flat against the Philadelphia Eagles. There is zero reason. There is no reason at all, folks, for this team to come out flat in this football game. They are having a Super Bowl rematch for their home opener. There is zero reason that this team should be flat. There is no reason that they should have a first quarter, a first half, like they did against the Chargers, like they did against the Eagles. I've got to see something early. I've got to see something early from this football team if I want to feel good about that energy level they've set moving forward. Talking with Herbie Teope on 21 Questions this week, he said the team seems laser focused. The team does seem like the energy is up in the building. Obviously, getting one of your star players injured on the third play of the game is going to hurt the energy a little bit. I understand that. I get that. But they can't let that happen. They can't let that affect their energy this week. If that does happen, knock on wood, holy cow, if that happens again, we might be having a deeper conversation here on 5 Things. But they cannot let that happen. Energy's got to be up. Big time game. You got a lot on the line here. It is only week 2, but you don't want to start 0-2. You cannot start 0-2 if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. You got big aspirations. It all starts against the Eagles this week. Got to bring the energy, and if they do that, boy, I think this team's going to be hard to beat if they bring that energy. If they bring that energy that we've seen them bring before, this team is a tough team to beat. All right, let's round up 5 Things. Only Weird Games, guys. What you got for me?
Thank you, Tucker. 2/3 of Only Weird Games. Joshua Briscoe and Seth Kaiser here. And Seth, we're going to use Nate's absence in our favor here. We're going to pretend and acknowledge in our minds these games do in fact matter, even though it's not yet Thanksgiving. And a couple of the defensive levers that Steve Spagnuolo could pull against the Eagles, I'm open to having those levers get pulled as early as week 2. Most specifically, kind of honing in here on Christian Fulton playing 15 snaps against the Chargers in week 1. That was about 23% of the defensive snaps. Trent McDuffie was in the slot a little bit, but spent more time on the outside. You got a lot of Shamari Connor in the slot. And this is kind of even without getting to the safety issues they had. But just in the cornerback rotation, it obviously wasn't good enough against LA. What would you like to see change against Philly?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Christian Fulton was given cornerback 2 money. He was given money to come in, be a starter in the boundary. That's what he was in LA last year. He was decent. Wasn't a world beater, but he's physical. He plays a lot like Jalen Watson. He's a smart player. He's a guy that you can count on, generally speaking, to not bust coverages. The snaps that I watched him, he looked fine. Looked like himself. You can't keep having Shamari Connor play big nickel. You just can't do it. It didn't work last year. It didn't work on Friday. It's just not what he's good at, and it stretches the limitations of what he can do, and it exposes some of his bigger flaws physically and mentally in terms of what he's best able to do. And Shamari Connor's a useful player. He's athletic. He's able to play deep. He covers ground well. He's aggressive to the ball. There are things that he can do. He needs a role in the defense, but the Chiefs they've got to do what they set out to do when they signed Christian Fulton, which is he should be playing, 65, 70% of the snaps. He's the boundary guy. Whether Watson's the number 2 corner to where, he plays about 100% of the snaps, I don't care. So long as you've got 2 boundary corners that you trust, you slide Trent McDuffie into the slot, and you are automatically better with arguably the best slot defender. It's like between McDuffie, Kyle Hamilton, and 1 or 2 other guys who the best slot defenders are in the entire league. It changes everything about what they can do, especially given all the things McDuffie does well from that spot. And so they've got to shift things around there. And also it provides an opportunity for either Connor or Hicks to see a reduced role, and in that, maybe a reduced mental workload. I know Spags kind of covered a little bit. It's like, I don't think it was that bad on the breakdowns. Guys were running into each other. Well, that's a mental breakdown when guys run into each other. So for me, the way the middle of the field got picked on, we were talking, PFF stats aren't the end all be all, but it's essentially, think of it as one person's opinion who's looked at the film. I think the Chargers were something like 11 for 11 for like $140, and a touchdown targeting the middle of the field. You can't have that happen. And that was a vulnerability last year too, and that was with Justin Reed. You have got to clean that up. And the easiest way to do that and protect your young safety group that looked like it had some holes in it is to go with your 3 veteran corners. That's why they signed Christian Fulton. That's what I'm going to be looking for. It's one of the easy buttons that the Chiefs could hit, in theory, to fix some of the issues that ailed them against the Chargers. We'll see if they pull the trigger on it.
I'm glad you mentioned both Reed and the contract there, because I really had forgotten until I was tweeting around, and shout out to Brandon Kiley for mentioning it on Twitter Saturday or Sunday. Christian Fulton's deal is 2 years, $20 million. It's effectively the first 2 years of the Justin Reed deal, which is not exactly the same, but kind of in that similar bucket. You mentioned it's CB2 money. It was also our favorite deal of the offseason, or at least our favorite addition that the Chiefs made this offseason, because we were both very excited about this vision of, oh, okay, cool. Well, so in your sub packages, Fulton and Watson take the outside. I'm right there with you. I do not care who is who, but they're your outside guys. And then Trent McDuffie goes back to being the best or one of the 2 best slot cover guys in football. On a defense for the middle of the field has been a problem for a year and a game now. It feels like you can solve a weakness with a strength, and it's worth mentioning that Christian Fulton, he played the 3rd preseason game. That was essentially his first action of the preseason, offseason, all that. But he was out there for plenty of snaps, and he played some in week 1, like I mentioned earlier. I have to believe that there's a larger workload coming for Christian Fulton here shortly, and we'll find out against the Eagles. Obviously, you've got some big and fast receivers on that team. It's a big and fast offense. You're going to need good tacklers on the edges. I'm not sure if we're going to see a significant change by week 2, but I would really like to see more Christian Fulton, which leads to more Trent McDuffie in the slot. I guess we'll all find out, and you and I will talk about it more on Tuesday's edition of Only Weird Games. That'll do it for our one thing, which means I get to kick it back over to Tucker D. Franklin. The D stands for defense.
Appreciate it, Josh. All right, that's going to do it for us here at 5 Things. Shout out to the KC Laboratory guys, to Matt Hamilton, to Benny Heiss, to myself, I guess, and also the Only Weird Games guys for joining me here as we give you 5 things that we are looking for in this Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl rematch. Hey, don't forget, if you're headed out to the game, we will be live right after the fact. Right after that final whistle sounds, we will be live on the KCSN YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Go hit the notification bell on the live stream so you get notified when we do go live, and we will be breaking down everything from this Kansas City Chiefs game. We'll also have the podcast up for you as soon as we get done recording as well. So that's going to do it for everyone involved here at KC Sports Network and 5 Things. I'm Tucker Franklin. I will talk to you after a Chiefs victory. We'll see you then.